My name is Jennifer Atencio, and I'm the support counselor at Allen High School. Along with Regina Shaw, the support counselor at Dillard, we created this presentation, Understanding Childhood Trauma. It is a basic overview of how to help you as a parent understand what childhood trauma is, the signs to look for in your child, and how you can assess your own trauma history. When you look at the definition of a traumatic event, it's a frightening, dangerous, or violent event that poses a threat to a child's life or body. This can include witnessing an event that threatens the life or physical security of a loved one. A young child's sense of safety depends on the perceived safety of those to whom they are attached. There are a variety of things that fall under the category of a traumatic event. Community or school violence, natural disasters, or the sudden or violent loss of a loved one may come to mind first. However, other things to consider include military family-related stressors, a history of child abuse and neglect, or serious accidents or life-threatening illness. Life-threatening illnesses can cause medical trauma, a fear of hospitals, doctors, or routine events such as immunizations. Children who have been exposed to one or more traumas over the course of their lifetime may develop child traumatic stress. Reactions to that trauma may persist even after the traumatic events have ended. Trauma looks different depending on the age of the child. When we look at preschool children, you might notice increased separation anxiety. You may see a regression in behaviors such as potty training, the inability to sleep, or nightmares, and they may develop new fears as well. In elementary age children, they may be fearful of certain people, places, or things. Focus and concentration may be difficult in school. Your child may complain of physical symptoms without a clear medical cause, such as complaining of stomach aches or headaches. And again, you may see regressive behaviors. For example, a child who stopped sucking their thumb when they were 4 may pick up that behavior again when they're 10, 11, or 12. With middle schoolers, you might see social withdrawal or isolation, increased anxiousness or worry, mood swings or emotional outbursts, and even experimentation with drugs and alcohol. As you can see, once the child hits high school, the trauma tends to present itself in more significant ways. You may witness symptoms of depression, anxiety, or post-traumatic stress disorder. The child may develop an eating disorder or begin engaging in self-harm. And you may see more oppositional behaviors in the classroom as well as at home. Research has shown that trauma survivors may experience a change in academic performance, increased suspensions and expulsions, an increased use of physical and mental health resources, involvement with the juvenile justice system and child protective services, and long-term health problems such as diabetes and heart disease. How a child responds to a traumatic event can vary depending on the severity of the event, how close they were to the event itself, how the caregivers responded, if there's a prior history of trauma, and what level of support does the student have from their family, community, and school. Adults play a huge role on how a child can overcome these traumatic events. It is important that you create safe and predictable environments with consistent routines, rules, and boundaries. Provide an opportunity for your child to express their feelings and experiences without judgment or criticism. Ensure that your child understands that they are not responsible, and trauma impacts people at different rates. Please be patient with them, and seek out a trained professional when needed. You can ask your pediatrician, family physician, school counselor, or spiritual or religious leader for a referral to a mental health professional trained in evidence-based trauma treatment. Modeling positive and healthy ways to cope with your own stressors, practicing patience and empathy, and creating opportunities for positive experiences are additional ways that you can provide support. In the 1990s, the insurance company Kaiser Permanente funded a study that found a significant relationship between the number of adverse childhood experiences a person experienced from birth to 17 and a variety of negative outcomes in adulthood. The more ACEs that were experienced, the greater the risk for poor physical health and/or risky behaviors. Some of these adverse childhood experiences include experiencing violence, abuse, or neglect, witnessing violence in the home or community, and having a family member who attempted or died by suicide. The study also found that children growing up in a household with substance use problems, mental health problems, and instability due to parental separation or household members being in jail or in prison undermine their sense of safety, stability, and bonding. How common are adverse childhood experiences? About 61% of adults said that they've had at least one type of ACE before the age of 18, and nearly 1 in 6 reported that they had experienced 4 or more adverse childhood experiences. Preventing ACEs could potentially reduce up to 1.9 million heart disease cases and 21 million cases of depression. Women in several racial and ethnic minority groups were at greater risk for experiencing 4 or more types of ACEs. The economic impact is significant. It totals hundreds of billions of dollars each year. Long-lasting effects include risks of injury, maternal and health problems, and a wide range of chronic diseases and leading causes of death such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and suicide. Once you understand the importance of these adverse childhood experiences, adults are now able to provide support and resources to help the child heal. Adults can also take steps to avoid situations and behaviors that may trigger traumatic memories or emotions. And when adults understand their own trauma history and how it impacts interactions with their child, adults can work to break the cycle of trauma and create a healthier and more supportive environment. ACEs and associated social detriments of health, such as living in under-resourced or racially segregated neighborhoods, frequently moving and experiencing food-related insecurity, can cause toxic stress. This can impact a child's brain development, immune systems, and stress response systems. It can ultimately affect a child's attention, decision-making, and learning. Toxic stress can lead to challenges that may last a lifetime. This includes forming healthy and stable relationships, an unstable work history as an adult, and a struggle with finances, jobs, and depression throughout life. Further exposure to toxic stress may occur due to historical and ongoing traumas such as systemic racism or the impacts of poverty relating from limited educational and economic opportunities. This video is from the CDC and will discuss how we can prevent ACEs through protective factors within a family, school, and community.
Hi, this is my neighborhood. I grew up in this building. This is a great community now, but it's had its share of problems. When I was a kid, our community had high unemployment, a lack of resources for families, and lots of kids hanging out with no adult supervision. You might have heard about adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs. ACEs are traumatic events in childhood, like abuse and neglect, that can increase risk for future problems. But they don't have to. The good news is that ACEs and their consequences can be prevented. Take me, for example. I was at risk for ACEs. And despite all the things that put me at risk, some pretty incredible people helped make sure that I wouldn't become another statistic. Come on, I'll show you around. That's Jackson. He's a cool kid. His dad left when he was 2, and his mom works 2 jobs. I hang out with him every Thursday night and help him with his homework. Sometimes we grab ice cream. It's fun. Plus, he has another adult role model to learn from and trust. That's Mr. Martino. When I was a kid, he let me help him at the store sometimes after school when my parents were working late. He did that for a bunch of us. My dad actually found his job as a mechanic because of Mr. Martino. This helped our family in so many ways. Not only did my dad have a steady paycheck, which eased his stress about paying rent and buying necessities like food and clothes, but he was also a lot nicer to me, my brother, and my mom once he started working a job that made him feel good about himself. When communities come together, they can do so much to prevent ACEs. Mr. Martino and other local business owners put together a series of career workshops to help people like my dad find work. My mom also got a job with a company that allowed her to work from home and spend more time with me and my brother. Mariana has just gotten out of a class about handling challenges of single parenting. The clinic offers free childcare so Mariana's daughter, Ella, can play while Mariana's in class. The class helps parents like Mariana develop positive parenting skills, not just for babies and toddlers, but for teenagers too. This is another way our community has come together to give families the resources they need, and just one more way to prevent ACEs. This was my school, Riverside Middle, right in the heart of town. These kids are here for a sponsored summer camp. This community-supported program helps families with affordable, quality childcare and helps kids get tutoring and learn life skills. When I was a kid, I spent a lot of time at this school all year long. There was one counselor, Miss Greer, who I remember more than anyone. She was a really good listener. Miss Greer helped me and my brother get involved in after-school activities like baseball and soccer. Our coaches were super nice and were mentors to us. Staying after school for practice kept us and a lot of other kids out of trouble. When schools help take responsibility for preventing ACEs, everybody wins. My life could have gone in a completely different direction. Studies show that ACEs can have long-term negative effects on kids' health and well-being that may last into adulthood and even continue in future generations. But by people and groups taking action, ACEs can be prevented. In fact, there are 5 known strategies that help stop ACEs before they even start. You can implement them in your own community, just like we did. How? By strengthening economic support for families, by changing social norms to support parents in positive parenting, by providing quality care and education early in life, by enhancing parenting skills to promote healthy child development, and by intervening to lessen harms and prevent future risk. So, now you know my story, and you've seen the prevention strategies in my community that helped me beat the odds. I had healthy relationships with my family and friends. I learned how to take care of myself and make good choices. And today, I'm a mentor to other kids who need some extra help so they don't become an ACEs statistic. Safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and environments are essential to prevent child abuse and neglect and to assure that all kids reach their full potential. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Banana split? You got it.
To prevent adverse childhood experiences, we can understand and address factors that put people at risk for or protect them from violence, create and maintain safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments, recognize challenges that families face, offer support and encouragement to help reduce stress, and support community programs and initiatives that provide safe and healthy conditions for children and families. Ways to raise awareness of ACEs includes shifting the focus from individual responsibility to community solutions, reduce the stigma around seeking help with parenting challenges or substance misuse, depression, or suicidal thoughts, and promoting safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments where children live, learn, and play. Scan the QR code if you're interested in taking the ACEs survey yourself. It may provide you with some insight on how your own childhood experiences are impacting you as an adult. We also have a list of resources that are available. Allen ISD maintains a community resource list, which is available on the District Counselor webpage. I also encourage you to check out the National Child Traumatic Stress Network website, as well as the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration site. If you or your child are in need of behavioral health treatment, SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's website, has a treatment locator. And the Collin County Children's Advocacy Center provides great resources to children who have been victims of child abuse and neglect. This program was developed utilizing the following references. I encourage you to seek out more information so you can have a better understanding of childhood trauma. Should you have any questions about this presentation or have a concern about your child's behavior, please don't hesitate to reach out to your child's school counselor. Thank you so much for viewing this presentation.